I'm sure many people have been saying, what on earth is that, each time they see an Omoda C5 on the road, and for good reason, because it is a stunning car. Today, I also have an Omoda C5, and I'm also feeling the exact same way, but for a slightly different reason. This is the Omoda C5 GT, and the difference between this car and the standard C5 is that the GT is more distinctive, and distinctive it really is. Up front, I do enjoy what it looks like. Yes, the gold can be seen as a bit too much, but the overall grille and the black, it looks aggressive and it looks stylish. But the moment we start going toward the rear of the car, you notice other things, such as the gold wheels. Also a bit out to lunch on that, the side skirts, not too bad. And then we get to the rear of the car. And that's when I say, Omoda, no, it's too much. The gold bits continue on the exhaust section and the Omoda script. There's also an F1 style diffuser, but it's important to note that the wing is not a must-have. So thankfully, you can still opt for the GT variant without the Fast and Furious livery. The interior of the C5 GT redeems the exterior styling. As we can see, it is very similar to the standard C5, with the biggest changes being this gold trimming on the center console. We've also got this gold trimming on the side of the doors. The seats as well have got this gold piping, and there's also gold stitching in strategic places. But overall, I do love this minimalistic dashboard, and what I like most is the fact that I can put my phone here, and my phone is still accessible without it being dangerous. The C5 GT is not all show and no go. You'll notice that this car is called the 290T, whereas the standard C5 is called the 230T, and that's for good reason. They have upgraded the power figures in this model, and it now produces 145 kilowatts and 290 Newton meters. In terms of how this vehicle drives, I'll say for day-to-day use, it's decent. It's only when you start driving in a spirited manner then you start seeing what I see in a lot of Chinese vehicles, and that is the disconnect between the engine and the chassis. It sometimes feels like those two components don't speak to one another, and because you've got quite a sharp throttle response in this car, and a lot of Chery products for that matter, the car sometimes feels like it's a bit nervous on the road. Crossovers are known to feel quite planted and quite poised when you're taking corners, and I'm battling to get that feeling out of this car. That being said, however, I am an automotive journalist and a petrol head, so what I'm looking for in a vehicle can be vastly different from the average consumer, and I do think that for the normal consumer, they'll enjoy how this car drives. Another very important factor about the Omoda brand as a whole is that they say that they are a tech company. And you can see that this vehicle does have a lot of tech and a lot of safety, which is again very good for the consumer. This vehicle has got collision mitigation braking, it's got adaptive cruise control, it's got lane keep assist, and it even has semi-autonomy, so the car will steer itself for a brief moment in time until it tells me to wake up and put my hands on the steering wheel. So from a tech perspective, it is very impressive indeed. Overall, these vehicles are very important for South Africans at the moment because, as you all know, car prices have skyrocketed. So the car that you would have bought for R500,000 5 years ago is completely different to the vehicle that you're going to buy today. What I like is the fact that you can still drive something that is stylish and safe and a bit daring in terms of its styling, but at the same time, you don't have to compromise too much in terms of what you're spending. At 589,000 Rand, the C5 GT costs nearly 130,000 Rand more than the base model. So why would you buy this over that? Well, two reasons in my opinion. Either you want more power or you want much more radical styling. In my opinion, I think just stick with the normal C5, as that represents the value proposition that the Chinese manufacturers have been known for.